It's now the 4th morning and I'm still doing this. So that's cool, I guess. Yeah, you gonna come?
You're gonna get picked
Awesome.
up with Floyd. Floyd's gonna take you around 6:45.
Just take
Yeah.
What?
Kidnapping me?
Yeah. Don't film me, Richard.
Okay, we'll just. So my wife, here's my wife, Kate. Okay. Yes, I married a tall Asian.
Man.
Well. Okay, now
No,
you
well,
move your mouth, and Kate, go ahead and talk, and we can have a conversation with Kate this morning. Go ahead, Kate.
So today I would really like to get some coffee, but I don't really like any of the coffee places here, but my husband still hasn't roasted coffee, so now I have to drive to Dunkin' Donuts and get a coffee that I don't really want. And he doesn't want me to buy it either, but it's totally his fault.
Okay, it's not my fault.
It's your fault!
I literally was going to make more coffee, and then you told me not to because you didn't want me to go
You
outside.
weren't allowed to see the garage. It's not my fault. It's the rules. It's the rules.
What rules?
It's the rules.
Who has these
of
rules?
renovating your garage for somebody, and it's supposed to be a secret. And if you're doing stuff, you can't show them. That's a rule. People are gonna be like, "Why does your wife pinch her nose when she talks?"
I don't think that's going to be their question. Of all the things that they could be questioning right now. These, by the way, those who are watching this is the extent we have to go to because Kate doesn't want to be filmed in the morning before she has makeup on. So this is our Kate stand-in. You do have eyebrows. They're just almost as pale as your face.
They look.
Look, those eyebrows look perfect.
My forehead is already so big.
All right. I don't want to fight about this anymore. Let's make out. I am on what is referred to as a honeydew duty. So I'm going to get some coffee because my wife is sick of drinking the Dunkin' Donuts. My wife and I are snobs when it comes to only a couple things in life. Well, actually my wife and I only one. Me, I've got a couple. But we are snobs when it comes to coffee. I'm here at my parents' house when they're up in Michigan because it's time to get some coffee. We've been out of coffee for a long time and I just haven't got around to actually making some more coffee. That's right, my wife and I are such big snobs, we roast our own coffee. And we're such spoiled snobs that we get the coffee from my mom, who has the roaster.
Still I can't escape the ghost of you. What's happened to it all? Crazy summer night. Where's the light that I recognized? It's gone away. I won't cry for yesterday.
One of the things I didn't share in my Gospel Minute this morning about the coffee making is one of the cool parts is that there's a part where it cracks. The coffee, when you're roasting it, the bean cracks. And this chaff, this little paper kind of like totally tasteless thing pops off. And the flavor is just left there. And I think that's such a beautiful illustration when the heat comes in our life, there's a crack, pop, and then the chaff, the silly, frivolous, unimportant stuff just drifts away. And the meat, the fiber, the substance of life remains.
They still needed people just to love them up, which they didn't get from day one in the church. If they go to a church and they start getting loved up, you know, they're going to start coming back to that church, and Lord willing, they actually will be changed as well.
So
Are you doing any better in limiting your hours, getting your hours down to a more reasonable thing, or are you tempting God to strike you down again?
You know, no. I'm not resting more, but I am doing more ministry. Well, besides Tuesday, which is the all-day staff meeting, I'm more doing ministry that is a blessing and isn't a burden. All right, so I'm having lunch with my brother here, Floyd, and he was just sharing with me a story from one of his adventures at the Goodwill, which he works at. Floyd does a tech work for the Goodwill with his adult daycare. Anyway, Floyd also drives the bus, and last time he was driving the bus, this happened.
Well, one of my favorite participants, I picked him up the other morning. He was all excited. He got moved toward the back of the van, and as he was clicking his seatbelt, he's hollering, "Floyd, Floyd, I'm taking a ship." And I said, "You're what?" "Yes, I'm taking a ship." Well, I finally figured out he and his parents are going on a cruise. But when he was first hollering it out, it really scared me. I wanted to say, "Please, I don't know if I can clean that. Can you wait till we get to Goodwill?" So that was the start of my day the other day.
He's taking a cruise would be another, you know, I'm taking a ship.
He was not taking a ship.
Have you ever seen the commercial that's, I shipped my bed, I shipped my pants? Did you see that one?
Yeah.
So good.
So, great guy.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun. I feel every day leaving there. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like I've really made a difference. The job isn't always about the money you make. It's how can you make a difference in someone's life.
No, I agree, 100%. Just in case you're curious, know that it's not Stan Lee. It is a pain.
Hold on, is this recording?
Yeah.
That's me. That's me to what you just said.
That would be you either way.
That's true.
You do that even when we're not recording.
I just wonder what it takes to get that person to, you know, the person who's not fully there with God to take that leap of like, I want God's wisdom. I want to understand God.
Sadly, usually tragedy.
Yeah.
But for those who don't require tragedy, I feel like it's usually that they come and see.
I mean, that's how I came to know the Lord, was through listening to somebody's story about, like, well, listening to their story about God's consistency in their life.
Yeah.
You know, even, and this person who was saying it was struggling with drugs and alcohol, and I was 9 years old. That wasn't my life.
You hadn't been struggling with drugs and alcohol yet in 9?
Not yet.
Some people actually do. Honestly.
But I just remember thinking, like, how God was always there for him.
Yeah.
And he finally realized it at some point. And that was his moment of coming to God, was he realized that God had been with him through all of this stuff, never left him, even in his worst point of addiction and really harming himself and harming the people around him, that God was consistent and he kept after him. And I remember thinking, like, and I want that. And I remember thinking, and that was about the time my parents were getting a divorce, or they'd been divorced shortly before, and just wanting somebody to kind of walk with me through all of that. And that's actually the image that came to me, was just like, I'm here for you. I'm here in the midst of this struggle. If that's not on the forefront of our mind, then we miss when God does stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're not looking for it. We're not, because it's not real to us.
Yeah. I was thinking about my ordination to the diaconate, and when, you know the story about with Kate and coming or not coming? To
Coming.
the actual ordination?
I don't think I know this.
Yeah, so Kate had a conflict in her schedule where she was supposed to work the morning of my ordination. She actually, so she scheduled the day off for my ordination, and then the day got changed. And the new day, she had a client. And so she was basically, I have to do this. Like, this is important. I didn't want to force her to do it. I didn't want to say, you have to, I'm the man. Yeah. So I didn't play that card. I just said, okay, whatever you think is best. And then people would ask me, like Bishop Miller, he'd say, your wife is going to be there, right? And it's funny because he would even ask that, but he was asking that because he wanted to make sure that she was going to be there.
Yeah.
And I would say, I fully expect that she's going to be there. She had told me many times, and continued because I'd say that to other people too. I'd say, I fully expect that she's going to be there. She had told me, I'm not coming. There's a 99% chance I can't make it. And I said, yeah, I know, I hear that, but I fully expect that you're going to be there.
You're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, exactly. And at one point she even said, how do you think it's going to be? And I said, I don't know, but I'm expecting God's going to come through. And the best illustration for how I felt emotionally in this time is like I'm sprinting as fast as I can towards a cliff and just expecting there to be a bridge there when I get there.
Yeah.
That's how it felt. But I think it might have been the night before, it might have been the day of. I can't remember. But I think it was the night before. Literally, Kate got a call from one of her clients needing to reschedule, which opened up another possibility for her to move another client and have it where she didn't have to come, or she could come to the ordination. And she was there like it was planned,
It's awesome.
and it's like there she was. Like I told everyone I fully expected her to be there, and she was there, and they were all none the wiser. Nobody else knew that behind the scenes she was supposed to have not been there.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to reschedule it. I didn't want to delay it. I knew we needed to get it done, and I knew God was going to come through, and He did.
You're not going to use any Reynolds rap?
I don't know yet. Can you not question me?
It's
I was
because
making a
his
joke.
last name
You're
is
a barber. I'm
Reynolds.
a cosmetologist.
I was making a joke.
He's a Reynolds.
Yeah.
It's his rap.
Yeah.
I'm
The
only going to
strength of
put it where I
language.
want it.
The Walking Tree Brewery. What Jesus did of building things by love and sacrifice, and it being something that made a bigger change and it had a bigger kingdom.
But God turns that whole thing on its head, and God's economy now comes in versus the world's economy. Which the world's economy is take advantage of the weak, take advantage of the poor, take advantage of anybody you possibly can. And God's wisdom flips that all on its head, and now those people that have been taken advantage of are on top. In God's eyes.
God's a Marxist now. He's libertarian.
I didn't say that, but I did.
I
didn't say that.
I'm joking.
It's the first communist.
Yeah, I didn't say that, but I didn't deny it.
Oh man, I love
That
people.
was the implication. I just want to make sure you all got it.
I love people talk about Acts is the first communist manifesto.
Nathan, your liberalism is showing.
Oh, there it is.
Who would have ever thought that this guy, who not born of noble birth either, I mean, we know in terms of his father in heaven he was, but in terms of being the carpenter's son he wasn't. In terms of human standards, Jesus was not born of noble birth. He was born in a manger. He lived for 33 years. He wasn't Aristotle. He wasn't Plato. He didn't write a bunch of doctrines and philosophies like that. He lived sacrificially, spending most of his time with fishermen, and he changed the world. Now, who would have thought that was possible? It might be counterintuitive, the things that Jesus said and the things that Jesus calls us to do. Give instead of receive, right? Sacrifice instead of gain. To die is gain. Like, these ideas are all counterintuitive, but they are the secrets to how we're supposed to live an abundant, filled life. You're a good man.
Yeah.
Remember, who said it, Luke?
Yeah.
Remember when Luke was like,
Yeah, he did.
what did he say exactly? Do you remember?
I think he called me a good man, something
He
like
said
that.
something like, it was something like about you not being fake.
Yeah.
and you being a good man.
Yeah.
It was like, he's like, you know,
Oh yeah, he said you're not a trickster.
you're not a trickster.
Yeah, you're a good man.
You're a good man. Like
Little
God,
buddy, you got me right in the old feels.
like God spoke to you out of the mouth of babe, you know? Like God has hidden that thing from the wise and learned, but revealed it to the little babes, you know? Live there. You're not a trickster. You're a good man. It's like, wow.
I couldn't believe he said that. I was like,
tears, like
wow.